All right, welcome back. We're going to look at Json now. Now, strings can easily be written to and read from a file. Numbers takes a little bit more effort since the read method only returns a string which will have to be passed to a function like int, which takes a string like a single quote 1, 2, 3 and returns its numeric value 1, 2, 3. When you want to save more complex data types like nested list and dictionary, parsing and serializing by hand becomes quite complicated. So rather than having users constantly writing and debugging codes to save complicated data types to file, Python allows you to make use of this really popular data interchange format called Json, okay, or JavaScript object notation. The standard module called Json, which is actually inbuilt, can take Python data hierarchies and convert them to string representation. This process is called serializing. Reconstruct data from the string representation and is called deserializing. Between serializing and deserializing, the string representing the object may have been stored in a file or data or sent over a network connection to some distant machine. All right, so let's dive in. That's enough theory. So we have import Json because we need to make use of this library or method. If we dumps, okay, what is really a list, 1, string simple and string list. If we dump it onto screen, this is what it looks like. Okay, there is another variation of dump, so it's called dump, which simply serializes the object to a text file. So if f is a text file, object open for writing, we can do this. We can just dump into the file. Okay, the x being the data and f being the so-called file. To decode, you just load. Okay, right. There is another method called pickle, contrary to Json. Pickle is a protocol which allows the serialization of arbitrary complex Python object. As such, it is specific to Python and cannot be used to communicate with applications written in other languages. So notice the difference here. Pickle, it's really specifically for Python, whereby Json is actually, well, it can use it on any machine by and large. Right, so if we look at this, we want to dump this into X data. And we're going to open this file and to write, and we write the X data into it, and then we're going to close our file. All right, so that's Json test file.csv. So let's go back to our Python modules and look for the file under page 2. You see the Json test files. So let's open that up and have a look. And there we go. There you have this list being stored correctly. So what happens if I want to retrieve it within Python? You can do the reverse, open the file as a read file, and load the data, okay, with file f as being the object after it's instantiated. And then when you print y, it's basically retrieving this list from earlier. And finally, don't forget to close the file. So that's really the end of the portion. I want to quickly touch on Json. This portion is really not meant to be very in-depth. It's just to actually touch on it so that you can actually understand that these methods or these packages do exist, so that when you actually come around with the need for it, you can actually access and make use of it.